Hello to everybody coming in. Hello to everybody coming in. I see my sister is in the house. Hello to everybody coming in. Hi. Matt, I just sent you a request. Hello to everybody coming in. Happy Moon Day, everybody. Happy Moon Day. I hope you all are having a beautiful, beautiful day. This is a quick impromptu, well, we'll try to make it quick. Impromptu live with one of my sisters, Kemet. You guys can also find her at Indigenous Descent here on Instagram. Okay, a powerful, powerful sister that I am so honored to be in connection with. Okay, my love, take your time, you're good. That I'm so honored to be in connection with because of her obedience and just who she is, her authority with spirit, her authenticity with spirit. I'm just really excited to have her and to be doing this live with her today as we usher in this Lionsgate portal. The sun site officially opened today, but others will say that this energy started to come in July 28th of last month. And so we're going to talk about this serious energy. We're going to get into this Lionsgate portal and what we can expect and what we can look forward to. And not only, you know, in the things of what everyone in the collective is choosing to focus on, which is manifestation, and all those good, wonderful things that you can easily get pulled into when coming under or joining in collective energies like this Lionsgate portal. But in this season, we really want to be clear about, become very clear about what we're operating in, you know, and what we're manifesting on a collective level. And if what we're choosing to manifest on a collective level is benefiting you individually, wherever you find yourself. I'm going to try sending you a request again, Matt. So hello to everybody coming in. I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Do I need to move back some? I figured I would. Let me adjust some myself. All right. Hello, everybody coming in. Hi, beautiful. Let me turn this music down some. Hello to everybody coming in, and hello to my sister, Matt. Move your camera back some, because when you go live with somebody, it kind of cuts off your picture. So yeah, adjust your phone to where we can see your face. Hello to everybody coming in. Hello to everybody coming in the room. Come on in the room. Welcome to this Lionsgate Portal 2022 that my sister Kemet, also known as Indigenous Descent, here on Instagram. We're going to delve a little bit into this portal energy that we're under. That's better, Matt.
Okay, you see me good?
Yeah, I see you good.
Okay, okay.
Wipe your screen just a little bit, baby.
Wipe it?
Wipe your screen. Take something and wipe the camera. Yeah. All right. That's better. Okay, that's much better. Okay. Hello, friend. How are you? And welcome to Holland Spices, because this is the first time that we have officially had the honor of having you over here on this side of the sanctuary. Okay,
Hey,
so I'm so happy. So welcome. Um, this is actually your live, so I'm going to allow you to open up, introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, and let us know where your mind is as it relates to this portal energy. To everybody coming in, we're just getting started, and we're going to be jumping into this Lionsgate portal, the shadow side of the Lionsgate portal. And so I'm
yeah.
going to allow my sister to introduce herself and to get us started, and then we're going to jump in.
Okay. Well, greetings and peace, everybody. My address is Kimmit, and I really had the pleasure of just being in this space to hold. Um, those who know me, hello, hello. Those introducing, that's a hat of many. I will say that. I try to be a vessel and current with my ancestors in those spaces. So I'm very, very thankful to be able to hold space in these times. And I guess currently by way of what sound
Yeah.
and I guess just a vessel. I think I just hit it on the nail with vessel.
Yes.
Being in that space right now. But I just really wanted to be in the space today, just going through counsel with self and just observing the community in that space and really diving into those aspects of consciousness with this Lionsgate portal. And I actually come to my attention last year in that space. And I had no acknowledgement of that label in a sense, but just feeling the atmosphere of what that is. And, you know, I definitely love to dabble in science and these different things that we have going on, but just understanding uh, a lot of the communication that has been going across the board, and a lot of individuals who have been expressing their mental and emotional space right now is making a lot of sense. So just tapping into what that means, I believe from my perspective, and it's just all perspective, you know, I ask everybody to study their self and understand what it is that they are looking into, what program they are paying attention to in these times, because I feel it's a lot of new age thing that is going on when we give attention to what actually this Lion Gate entail. So I see a lot of the shadow aspect of it, and a lot of people are giving currency through energy into things that is outside of their own person. And it's causing this veil to come across the third eye. It is causing a lot of confusion and misperception as to what is in that space. So just casting that illusion to the side and understanding what aspect of ritual that we're looking at
Yes.
in season. And so just coming into those spaces where we understand the math on that and the science on that. And you know, we give a lot of energy to these numbers, 11, 11, 8, 8, 8, and all these space and these jazz. This is good to be in the space of the manifest, but
Yes.
creating an entity with the numerology, I want to cover that basis. And I think it's going to take a few days, but I just wanted to hit the hammer on the nail and allow that open dialogue, and just understand that just even um, astrologers alone or just science alone, you can look and not, they say where, the sun and Sirius is in alignment.
Yes.
Not not one not one alignment is the same every year.
Yeah.
And so just that alone is, I always say, seasons with things, and we've been dealing with this type of energy, even before the July the
Yeah.
26th. And
Yes.
a lot of people have been walking into these new energies, but it's so many different gates that are open.
Yes.
It causes this perception to be distorted. And
Yes.
so it's allowing yourself to be in that space where you're in recognition of what foundation you're standing on.
Yes.
So being in support of like these masks, and these downloads just been coming really quickly, but the attention that we need to be paying is to self.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not projecting into spaces where we are out in mass groups.
Yeah.
I've come across a lot of individuals, just yesterday, a lot of family that came in for sound therapy, and just a moment of quietness, mindfulness, was saying that a lot of engagements for them had been canceled, and my notion was, well, you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Not supposed to be there, and allowing yourself to be subject to a lot of these things, it's a trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a trap, and I really want to call that for what it is. And being in that space where we're in recognition that the currency of exchange is to be entertained in exchange for your energy.
Yes.
And so a lot of people that find themselves wanting to go to these groups and these different sessions of doing this breath work, these yoga groups and all these things where people are still not grounded, you don't know what entity is fluctuating through these spaces.
Come on.
And so you leave and you go hyped up, and you come back and everything is denounced from self, because you still went into a program in exchange for the essence that resides within. So just utilizing those tools to cover yourself and put
Yeah.
yourself in perspective is necessary.
Yeah.
We don't divine enough within ourselves and allow ourselves to be in the space where we are initiating our own ship. And it's kind of like pedaling backwards.
Yeah.
We denounce a lot of the religious aspects.
Come
I
on.
want to take on these concepts of
You're going right where I want you to go. Go ahead. Go
denouncing,
ahead.
I denounce church, I'm
Mhm.
denouncing these things, but you're exchanging it for something that is labeled different, but is the same concept.
Yes.
Giving
Come on.
something outside of that self in the name of all these different labels. And it's very mindful in these times that you be very aware of what is going into the eye gate.
Come
And a
on.
lot of people are not understanding that the third eye is covered.
Yes.
And the veil is over that, which is causing the confusion, which is causing delusion, and it's causing us to go into these emotions that does not belong to us, because the spirit is like, hey,
Yeah.
You got me in the dark,
Yeah.
pretty much. And a lot of individuals that are in these spaces are really fighting for that connection and communication to wake up, like you said, these dead organisms,
Yeah.
and speaking life back to the body. Because just like how there's operation of so many things, there's entities that seek to have this experience
Keep going.
and forward, and if you are not properly aware of self, or just going with the spaces of other things, then you find yourself subject to energies that do not serve you purpose.
Come
And
on.
a lot of us do not gravitate towards what's already genetically uh, downloaded in our DNA.
Come on.
And that's where comes a participation and recognition of your ancestors. recognition of those who stand firm in the gap for you. That is your divine and direct connection. So I always tell people, you feeling the lonely is because you're not communing with things that is inside of your own individual properties.
Come on.
And so that's why it is important, because if you are not in belief system of that, you can fall for anything.
Yeah.
You can fall for whatever these illusions, and they make it sound nice and they make it sound great, and they have those perspectives, but nothing in science is leading me, or the spiritual aspect, to where, you know, these so-called lion gate portal. And I was asking my husband, well, what is this? You know, it's a bunch of bull crap. And, you know, I don't want to go on a rant, but it really is being in that space to where when our spirit is called upon us to clean up the debris, it's not to run in the direction of some false advertisement, because these people in certain spaces, they have an agenda.
Yeah.
You know, you look into these aspects of when something is happening on these scales, I always ask, okay, what's the agenda?
Yeah.
What's the concept? What's the gaming? What is it now that they're trying to feed into, and opening up these different realities and have people everywhere.
Yeah.
And have people everywhere and seeking balance and direction that is very distorted. And it comes in the name of Christ consciousness, or it comes in the name of, you know, angelic this, and, you know, being that, and they put all these colorful things. But this new age program is creating like you know, universes within universes, and allowing people's reality to be fed into something. So then when you're on these scales of collectively meditating and collectively doing these yogas and collective, and they want this love, is really a harnessing of energy.
Come on.
And you're just, you know, a lot of people are generating that, and they're giving it to
Come on.
these things that be. And you know, I'm gonna
Listen, you
I'm
said
gonna shut that aspect down, and we go into the other spaces, but really focusing in on the solution, because we could put out there a lot of what is, and we'll save that for more intimate section.
Yeah.
But within these times right now, there's so many open spaces that we have to make sure that we're mindful, that our mind and our spirit is very covered. So I'll let you go into some spaces real quick, because
No,
you know,
you said a lot. You said a lot, and I think it, you know, the side or the energy that you find yourself in, especially in receiving this energy, is really coming from this the moon being in Sagittarius, and it's the shadow aspect of the moon being in Sagittarius as we come into this Lion's Gate portal is really asking us to go past the surface of things. And when you are integrating yourself into ideologies, whether it be the Lionsgate portal, you know, whether it be sitting in your church houses on Sunday, whether it be getting 50 million initiations into spiritual traditions, you know, jumping from system to system, trying to get a hold or an understanding of God or a feel of the Creator, Spirit is beckoning you to just go back to the basics, which is the self. You know, go, and when we look at the energy or the shadow side of Sagittarius, you know, it deals with people having the tendency towards being restless, to being detached, to acting very carelessly, and to being superficial. And I think right now of where we are as it relates to the spiritual side or the spiritual nature of the world, it's become very superficial. You know, it's become, you know, very careless. You know, people taking, you know, understanding that they have the power and the control to direct people because of influence, and using that power in a careless way. So when we talk about being more mindful when you're integrating into these collective spaces, Spirit is really desiring for us, if as you walk into this Lionsgate program, because the bottom line is that what we're trying to understand is planetary energies and planetary alignment. And before I go too much into a tangent, I want to deal with something really quickly.
Okay.
And hello to everybody that's coming in the room. When we look at the Lionsgate portal, it's really just speaking to cosmic synergy between the stars, okay? It's dealing with signs and numbers, but the term itself refers to the annual alignment of the sun and Leo and the Sirius star coming together under the night sky, which is known as the Alpha Canis Majoris, or aka the dog star. So what we're really speaking about are planetary alignments that none of us can get away from. You understand what I'm saying? And what we have right now are scholars that are coming forward, but just as much as we have scholars that are coming forward, we have what do they call it? Thieves in the night. The Bible says that the devil was seeking to and fro, looking for whom it may devour. And so right now we're in a season of spirituality where, for just as much as we have authenticity, spirit birthing people with authenticity in the spirit, and authenticity in the manner and how they operate in spirit, is the same way that we have another sect of people who see the prostitution of spirit and see the benefit and prostituting spirit and prostituting our gifts. And so there's two things that's happening under this, what we know as being the Lionsgate portal. And so on one side we have the planetary alignment that plays itself out annually. And then on the other side, we're looking at the ritual of the Lionsgate portal. And when we look at the ritual of the Lionsgate portal, it's actually going to take us to the Bible. And when we look at the metaphysical symbolism of spirit speaking about the Lionsgate portal as it relates to the Bible, what it's really speaking about is the last walk of Jesus, right? As he goes from prison to the crucifixion. And so what we're looking at is a Jewish ritual. And that this is why I believe that this is coming up for Kemet, because spirit is really desiring for us to get on the right side of ritual. Right? And to get into ritual for the right reasons. And that's not getting into ritual to advance yourself. It's not getting into ritual to manifest things that you know that you don't even have the capacity to handle given the seasons that you're in. Okay, it doesn't deal with manifesting money, manifesting love, manifesting houses. What we should be focusing these planetary energies under when they're making their way into our lives, not only on a collective level, but also on an individual level, we should be utilizing these energies to really pour and go deeper into the self. Because this is where we are right now in this age and time. Leaving the age of Pisces, what you believe, what somebody told you is true, operating in and out of your delusions, not being able to differentiate between your illusions and your reality, going along with the get along, and then moving into the age of Aquarius, which is, what do you know? What do you know? What have you studied? And not what have you studied in books, and not what you have studied in lectures, and the amount of lectures that you sat in, and the amount of currency that you spent trying to sit under what you deem some of the greatest master teachers. What is calling for you is, what have you studied within the self? What have you picked apart as it relates to the capacities of your mind, to the limitations that you've placed there? What are the false realities and the false ideologies that you've placed on yourself because of outside influence? And this is what validates this, right? The shadow side of the Sagittarius moon validates this, right? By really sending the message to get a hold of your restlessness. If you find yourself in a place of restlessness, it's because you haven't built out an effective enough plan to animate yourself into, right?
And that's taking time. And that's where that's taking time. I really like to address that, because individuals are always seeking engagements in that space. And I'm saying, like, participating into a program, you're giving energy into something that you should be atoning with yourself. It's not about this mass group, this mass collection of stuff. And, you know, a lot of people that I've come across that say that, you know, when it's cycles of these different labels, they have detached and, you know, understood, you know, that after a couple of seasons, they feel themselves more revived. They feel
Yes.
themselves more in tune because they're not feeding into another program. And a
Yes.
lot of these things is driven for the masses to be
Yes.
in that space. And
Yes.
it's no different, you know, in these groups where it's no different than going to a concert. It's
Yes.
just really pulling on that. And
Yes.
it's all ritualistic and it's all based off of, you know, pulling that source, you
Yes.
know, and understanding, yes, they all draw to the numerology of 8 and the numbers in that space. I know you'll get into
Yeah.
that, but you know, just residing and just understanding your own individual ability for manifestation on your own level. And at every level, someone is able to educate and raise their vibrations, whether it be over time
Yeah.
or very rapidly.
Yeah.
But it's just understanding the direction that you go into, and being in seasons. A lot of time we feel it very impactful because it's amplified.
Come
It's
on.
in a space where we are magnetically drawn, or these downloads is coming through, and which we're stuck in the flesh in a space to where we want to drive this ship some other
Come on.
space, and the spirit is like, okay, I need you right here. I need you
Yeah.
to understand, because we still have to serve our divine purpose individually. It is good to be in spaces collectively sometime, but individually, it is understanding your path that you're driving on. So
Yes.
this is where these attachments, these entities that are called depression, these entities that are called anxieties, these entities that are called suicide, these entities that, you know, are called, you know, self-conscious consciousness, and being in that space where they're absorbing that, it's easy to be fed off of.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And a lot of people are not understanding that they need to study these tools on understanding the alchemy is everywhere. If we
Everywhere.
just listen and tap in, you would understand how to cover self and be in that space where you are in that divine energy of your own.
Yeah.
And like I said, just those properties of just that, um, those downloads from ancestral
Yeah.
property, you
Yeah.
know. So it it's
It,
just, for me, it's focal point.
yeah. That's why I said I feel like, you know, spirit woke you up in the energy of being, you know, of giving the call for us to get a hold of our restlessness, you know, and to get a hold of and get an understanding of what it means to detach, you know, as Sagittarius deals with detachment. What do you need to let go of that's keeping you anchored, you know, in places and in spaces and with people that you no longer reside in? What aspects of the collective and wanting to engage in the collective, or the necessity to engage in the collective, do you need to detach from? Are we running towards the collective and towards collective spaces because you're running away from the individual work that you have to do? You know, because oftentimes what I'm also finding right now in the spiritual community is, even though we talk about trauma bonds and the importance of releasing trauma bonds and the dangers of releasing trauma bonds, what I'm finding and what I'm seeing is that it's easier, and it's been easier for the spiritual community and just the collective as a whole. There's more of an easier attachment to collective traumas, right? Because it creates a space for you to stay, you know, in ways of being that you know that spirit has been calling you out of. And you know
Yeah.
spirit is calling you out of seasons of behavior when spirit begins to flood your experience with people that are challenging who you see yourself to be in that current space. And a lot of times we'll integrate these in church they called it a rebuke. We'll take these rebukes as being witchcraft, or being somebody being jealous of you, or somebody being hating on you, when it's really spirit trying to get your attention, to tell you that
Yeah.
no, baby, you need to sit down for a season because you're really not where you think you are. Or no, baby, you need to sit down for a season because this collective space and these connections that you're making is actually going to have you worse off in 5 years than where you find yourself right now. right? So this shadow side of the Sagittarius moon is really asking us to become more connected to the truth of our realities than the false ideologies that we find it easier to rest in, right? This Sagittarius full moon this Sagittarius energy as we come into this Lionsgate portal is really removing this filter. And I feel like that's the energy that Kemet woke up in today, is spirit removing the filter and saying that we don't have no more time to play. We've been spinning these cyclical cycles for centuries. We've been spinning these cyclical teachings for centuries. We've been recycling the same prophecies for seasons. And our spirit is really desiring for us to come to a place where we put down the ideologies and pick up the prophecies of the self. Not the prophecies of what's happening always in the collective. When spirit is ready to speak to the collective, spirit will speak to the collective. But when spirit is dealing with the individual, you must allow spirit to deal with the individual. Or the collective suffers because the individual is not being dealt with, right?
And it's not to go,
go ahead.
It's not to go because I don't want to discourage. In that the point is that recognition. Recognition of the time, just allowing self some downtime, meditating and taking that space and experience the benefit of coming out of outdated ways of thinking. It's a lot of reset and unplugging from things, even these devices, not engaging in activities that will be superficial or draining. And put yourself in the space where you're really atoning and acclimating to what is necessary for your divine purpose. Because sometimes we can feed into other places and people's agenda that have nothing to do with our path. And it takes a lot of time to reprogram when we've accepted other realities. So it's just coming to face for just reinventing our focal points and understanding the fulfillment and what our purpose is and being present in that. And not being subject to so much distraction in that space. That is what, and we definitely go into those spaces where we it's trial and error. It's a human experience. It's allowing us. We are explorers and we observers, and we understand that. But just being called upon, operating in your highest form of self, that so many programs are set up and so many simulations are set up that we have to have that spirit of discernment within ourselves and trust ourselves in that space and attune to those parts that see I and I, and allow ourselves to understand what is illusion and what is reality to us.
There you go. That's
because
very good.
when it's so much of those things out and the conscious community is so overly saturated with so many things, I see why it's just so scattered. But that's where you have to be centered with self, to where truth recognize truth. And being in that space where you are very understood with self, to where no one can take you off your square. There is no distraction or something that can blindside you to where you are lost in self or feeling like you're held captive in a space that is just such illusion,
That's good.
Is that, and I know people are very excited. Energy is supposed to be very high, but for the right reasons. For the right,
and making sure that you're in the place to receive those energies in the right way. That I say all the time, everything is ritual, and you gotta understand and take a moment to decipher the ritual that you're engaging into. Just this conversation that we're having, this is a form of ritual, right? This is an exchanging of words, right? And so everything that we do is ritual. And so as you go, whatever collective spaces that you find or feel yourself called into, as we, as this portal opens up and closes, they say on the 12th, make sure that you're taking the time to really understand the ritual that's happening in these spaces. And if you don't understand the ritual that's happening in these spaces, then protect yourself in a way to where you don't feel the necessity or the need to show up just to say that I was there, right? Because there's always a sacrifice that comes after these portals closes, because we're not the only people using this energy. The powers that currently be are also utilizing this energy, right? So we have to really begin to understand, gain better understandings past the surface level of when we say that we're coming into, or these portals are opening, what is coming out of these portals, and what are these portals, really trying to get us to see. And the Sirius, planet is really dealing with transition, moving from one reality or frequency into another. And that is the journey that I feel that we're all on right now, of one coming into the awareness of consciousness from having been asleep for centuries. Our ancestors have been asleep. Our foremothers have been asleep. Our forefathers have been asleep. And now we are so lucky that Spirit allowed us, those of you, to awaken for such a time as this, to come into the awareness that is more than struggle, that is more than waking up and going to the same job every day, that is more to spirit than what you see. There's more to this universe than what we can imagine. So there is a frequency of ascension that's taking place on this planet. Whether the Lionsgate portal happened today or whether it happened next month, we are in an active and open portal of ascension.
Yes.
Right? And so, as we close, if you, unless you have anything else that you want to share, Matt, I know you wanted to come on for the next few days, and if there's something that has for us to share, we'll come on and come back. But
just those understanding that just on an energetic level, don't feel bombarded. Some of us may go through spaces where we're feeling exhausted, emotion, maybe sleep deprivation. A lot of people have been messaging me of just sensation, for some weird reason. It's frequency.
That's sensory.
And everything is frequency. Yeah, it's a sensory. And this may be a very jarring transition. But like I said, just with nature, everything is seasons.
Yes.
You may feel some sort of illusion of fatigue on a physical and emotional and mental level, even on a soul-centered level, allowing yourself to not be stagnant in that nature, to fall into the illusion of these emotions that have been diagnosed by programmers in this reality. And allow yourself to receive the downloads that you need in this time of rest, in this time of transition, in this time of your manifest, in this time of these things that you are wanting to move your power and stand in your power in, and allow yourself to not be jarred into the direction of nothingness. I would say that.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
So I just wanted to crash course this illusion of this false thing that is this new age, oversaturated, unrespected, unstudied, following the blind type stuff, and I just want people to understand that it does not have to be that way, because you are changing one hand for another. You went from one church to the other. In the name of something, in the name of something else.
Say it again for the people.
Changing one church to another. And it does not work like that. And that just lets me know you have not denounced that program. Because fear still resonates in that space where we have to follow and fall into something outside of ourselves. Ye are God. And being in that space where you understand the nature of the very dynamics that we are charged in so many levels. Electrify yourself. This is why there is light bearers and people have their beacons up down from the food to the education to the
You
science
teaching
of
real good.
things that is in that space.
You teaching real
And
good.
it's just crying because, just wanting to fit in into this, and it's very superficial.
Yeah.
Time to heal, unplug, purge,
Yeah.
develop the nature. Like, what do you need to adorn your crown and your consciousness with? Yes, even those you idolize that are in these positions, they are still under some handle.
Come on.
And the agenda will continue to be for whatever power that they serve.
Come
But
on.
in this place, I will sit on my own throne and allow myself to be in the righteousness with my own nature. And that's just
It's in this place. It's in
just
this
blowing
place.
my mind, and you have to continue to keep yourself awake because a lot of these teens are programmed to sleep and shut the system down, you know.
I that is you
And
teaching
these
good.
children to themselves focus on the within, because a lot of them is trying to check out for whatever reason. You want to come back and do this shit again, you don't need to.
Yeah.
It's a cheap way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All these diagnoses with depression and the PTSD and all the anxiety, it's a trick.
Yeah.
It's a trap.
Come on. The power of
It's a
death
trap.
lies in the tongue. Stop declaring new things.
No.
Even if you feel those things, declare a new thing.
Yeah.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the
Yeah.
renewing of your mind. So
Yeah.
that's where it starts. Declare a new
Yeah.
thing. I don't care if you don't believe it for the first 50 days that you wake up every day declaring it. By that 51st day, you're going to know it to be true within your being, right? You're going to release the energy of depression. Instead of manifesting under this moon, use this portal to begin to declare a new thing and to release the death tongue that this generation is carrying.
Yeah.
Release the death tongue that this generation is carrying.
That, I think that would be one of these other days we go into
Yeah,
that
we'll
whole
go into
subject.
that. But before we close, man, I
Is
want to
yeah.
touch on this really quickly before we go.
Go for it. Yeah.
So this serious energy, when I was in research, I thought this was really beautiful, and I want to share it because I think it's a beautiful understanding and perception for everybody to walk into this portal with, that takes us from a superficial level and puts us on a playing field of meeting spirit where it is. When we look at the Sirius portal, it says that the Sirius portal represented a covenant, so a contract. It says that this was a contract or a covenant to the creator to choose to let go of earthly limitations of duality and step through the gate/portal of consciousness with an open heart and a head to receive the manna. When we look metaphysically at the symbolism of what manna translated into, it translates into the bread of life, or the word of God, declaring a new thing over your life. Manna represents the realization that the divine substance is everywhere present and in every part of consciousness, meaning that we have access to these portals and to these energies of portals when you have the ability and the power and the awareness that you can bring it down whenever you get ready for spirit to allow the manna to fall on you, which is the bread of life or the word of life, right? And that this realization of understanding that you have the bread of life, right, or the word of life on your tongue, understanding that whatever you move in this existence and whoever you walk out of this portal and being, understanding that you were already that before you set yourself in a collective space and manifested something.
Yes.
Understand that spirit was already calling you up to a higher place. The Lionsgate portal not only represents the symbolism of the planetary alignment, but it also represented the last walk of Jesus translating into the spiritual activity of the I am as the ruling consciousness in a being, right? It goes on to say that that the Lion's Gate in the Bible dealt with the last walk of Jesus from prison to crucifixion. When we look at the etymology of prison, it stands or translates into being a place of confinement or involuntarily restraint. Where are you voluntarily restraining yourself at? Who are you voluntarily restraining yourself to? And why do you feel the need to be a martyr in your own experience? Why are you limiting yourself in your own experience? And so as we walk into this Lion's Gate portal, understand that for some of us, you are walking into this portal and being imprisoned. Being imprisoned to your ideologies, being imprisoned to the experiences that you generate around yourself, being imprisoned to the people that you allow to have power over you, to the things that you allow to have power over you. And as you exit out of this portal, if you should so choose, you are exiting out of this portal in the state of crucifying everything that no longer, that no longer applies to you, or crucifying the things that no longer has attachment to you. When we look at the metaphysical symbolism of crucifixion, it represents the crossing out in consciousness of errors that have become a fixed states of mind. So if you do nothing under this Lion's Gate portal, release your fixed states of mind. Release your fixed behaviors. Release your fixed prisons that you've confined yourself to. And if you want to be a martyr to anything, be a martyr to the things that are no longer working to you. That you would rather die to your experience than to continue to generate aspects of your experience that no longer work for you. Right? Yeah. And then go ahead, Matt. And that's where I want to close.
Absolutely. I want to say I'd like to pick up tomorrow on utilization of tools for spiritual covering. And those who are in spaces of warfare with things around them, a lot of us may be in environments where there is participation in that. But few things that individuals can utilize. I would just say right off tops, some of us are due for a spiritual cleanse and a bath. Get into that space where you're covering yourself and taking that time for that self-care and really pour over yourself, just a veil of protection and being in the mindset because of so many things going on in these times and allowing yourself to be covered. This is not a space of invoking fear. This is the perception of standing in your power. And a lot of people is like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta get through. It's standing firm in what it is of who you know yourself to be.
Come on.
And if you have worked very hard to move out of the energies of lower vibrations, it is no other choice but to go forward, because you do not want to pedal backwards into these anxious and moody and unconscious thoughts. And it's very sad. But being into the space where you are consciously elevating yourself in the direction that you know you're going to, and not being swayed any other way but on that path. And sometimes it is very narrow. Sometimes people will not go with you. Sometimes you will be in that space where it's just the one. But understand that you are right there with God and you are in your Christ consciousness. So you're never lonely. I always tell people.
That's right.
Always in the room with God. So that's still
lonely. You're always in a room with God. Somebody better hashtag it. Okay.
Come on. It's a beautiful song that goes into that. Look up photosynthesis. But I really want to participate in that understanding, because a lot of people are asking the who and the what. With that covering of self. But I just want you guys to understand to not fall victim to the disillusion or disrupt your conscious path with so many activities that come in the name of so many labels.
There you go.
And allow yourself to really educate on what these seasons are and not just take things for face value. Study yourself with the alignment of planetary if you are understanding the cosmos. Align yourself with the energies that be, because just like we are standing in our power, there's other things that seek to devour the
Come on,
power of
partner.
ages. So be in that space and allow yourself to power up and respond to your spirit
Come
with
on.
respect and diligence.
Come on.
It is our responsibility to charge up our own atmosphere,
Come on.
to allow ourselves to engage in that space of our divine energy.
Yeah.
And not all these colorful, fluffy things that people say online and they want to do this collective, this, that, and the other. Just let it be. What serves you purpose will draw to you.
Yeah.
And
Come
a lot of
on.
times somebody tries to speak truth with many layers of lies.
Yeah.
And you have to understand when somebody is stacking and we call them lie sandwiches.
Yes,
So
yes, for real.
get
You
out of
gotta be
that.
able to
Get
you
out of
gotta
that.
be able to identify it. You
Get out of
gotta be
that.
able to identify it. May I close with the music Nancy meditation?
Let's do it.
So as I'm sitting here, I'm gonna send you all away. Those of you who are familiar with Holland Spices, y'all know that I'm always doing something called a music Nancy meditation, which is with spirit, using music through divination as a form of divination and communication with spirit to us. And so the song, the music Nancy meditation that spirit is giving to me right now for this Lionsgate Portal is the Lion of Judah will break every chain and give to us the victory again and again. The Lion of Judah will break every chain and give to you the victory again and again. We claim victory over every circumstance. You know, be that mighty lion, that powerful lion. Stop looking to the herd and you lead the herd. I share.
Yes.
And y'all have
Ashe.
a beautiful, beautiful day. And I want to thank my sister for having me do this Lionsgate portal and come before our people as a
Yes.
collective unit, deciphering and decoding what Spirit is saying to us under this Lionsgate portal. And we hope that you all were able to take something away from this live that we did here today, and that it speaks to you and find you wherever you find yourself on your own journey.
Yes. Yes.
And if we feel the
And
need,
pass it on, pass it on. We
yes,
got to down these illusions. So if you find this happy in your spirit, just pass it,
yes,
pass it. You know,
yes,
we got to continue to stay focused and
yes.
in alignment. So I thank you so much,
Matt,
Ruth, for
tell them
that.
where they can find you physically here in Arizona. And tell them
Okay.
your
Yes,
services
yes,
and what you offer as well for those who may be looking for some of these cleansings at this time
okay.
and you find yourself
Yeah,
in Arizona. Let them know where they
yeah.
can find you.
Okay, so we're residing, currently we're in several spaces in Phoenix, Arizona. Right now, we're opening up space in the city of Mesa. Uh, and yeah, we're going to be holding space for different healings and therapies. We're still building space in there. We'll have a few intuitive readers that are there. I will be actually online this day. I won't be in shop until tomorrow. Yeah. And I'll be taking walk-ins for readings as soon as I finish setting it up. But if anybody needs to hold space today, just go ahead and DM myself. Or if Holland and Spices is available, you click on that website and allow yourself to get more in-depth clarity if you need. I have adjusted half up. I'll probably put the code that's on there for today,
Okay.
going into the 12th. But today I am still holding space for Reese. So we are gonna hold every Sunday. We have gotten back into meditate. I'm sorry, sound therapy on Sundays. That is always free, donation based,
Yes.
whatever you feel.
It's
If
phenomenal, y'all. It's phenomenal.
It's definitely a spiritual cleanse in its own right.
Yes, it is.
And throughout the week, we'll have a schedule set up there. But you can go to indigenous.descent.com. Also, Ted the Insect Man uh, is our retail portion, but Pollen and Spices is my go-to right now. I
Listen,
have everything I need for those cleanses and spiritual
yeah,
bath. Me, I consider myself in that spiritual world the Undertaker. You know how
yeah,
it was in wrestling. I do my cleanses in person, and it's a revelation on that space. So we will be holding space in the next couple of weeks for physical cleanse for a lot of people. But never hesitate to message myself. I know that I do a lot of works, but if there's something that your spirit feels you need in that space, by all means reach out.
yes, please.
You
Y'all
know,
won't
I
regret it.
love this platform
Y'all
for
will not
outreach.
regret
So
it.
yeah, yeah,
Y'all
we
won't
always moving. Yeah,
regret it.
I'm very thankful.
Yes.
Very
So
thankful.
y'all make sure that y'all go ahead and follow Indigenous Descent here, Indigenous underscore Descent here on Instagram. And you guys can also find Ted the Insect Man as well here on Instagram. Y'all already know where to find us. I mean, y'all in the sanctuary already, so y'all might as well go ahead and click that follow button. What are we doing? Okay. But we want to thank y'all again. Hello to everybody who joined us on
Yes,
today. And hello to
yes,
all of the new followers that I know both of us are walking away with from this live. We look forward to connecting with y'all. If something on this live sparks an enlightened moment and you feel led to share, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. And if you know someone who could use this Lionsgate Portal Live on today, feel free to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. Sit down and watch this
yes.
live because
Hello.
Ruth and Kemet went in. And until next time, y'all, we're going to see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Yeah, please. See you.